Hey everybody, and welcome on today. We are so excited. We have a great presentation for you. We are just going to give everybody a few moments to get situated and enter into the meeting. So this is a great time to grab some water, do what you got to do, and we will be back in about 2 minutes to begin. Thanks for your patience. If you are just now entering into the meeting, thank you so much. We're just going to give everybody about 1 more minute to enter and get situated. Thanks for your patience. All right, looks like we are ready to rock and roll. Thank you again for coming today to this awesome demo we have planned for you. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to our presenter, Jamin.
All right, good afternoon, good day to everybody. I am Jamin Patel and I am in sales engineering over here at AttackIQ. And today's topic is going to be kill chain. Okay, kill chain solution to how we understand kill chain and what can we do in regards to solution from AttackIQ's perspective. So we're just going to jump in. I have very few PowerPoint slide. In fact, I have only one PowerPoint slide, but we're going to make it very interactive. Any questions that you guys have, please just ask. I always, in my presentation, I always expect 5 to 7 questions. That's how I know people are getting it. Let's go ahead and jump into what we are going to specifically talk about. So, just going to let everybody know, everybody probably is aware of US-CERTs and the CERT alerts that we are used to getting from our cybersecurity arm of our government. What I found out recently that US-CERT is been retired. The nomenclature has changed to CISA advisory. I figured most of you folks have started to hear that, but that's no different than the US-CERT alerts we used to get last year or in the last decade. It's all called CISA advisory. So this is a product. This is our whole homepage. When we log in, this is what you get. Some things like what's new, and we are going to go ahead and talk about today and focus everything on the CISA advisory that was released. I think it was last week, March 1st or 2nd. Okay, so our product does a good job of just informing our clientele as to what's new or who's who in the zoo, if you may, in regards to the threat actors and what kind of noise they are making. So recently I just saw that, so this one. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Now, this is the description of the CISA alert AA23061. It's actually called, they've named it Royal Ransomware. It is quite royal in that sense. And our job is to describe to you what it does. So, being in the analyst business, you would, first of all, when you hear somebody say, your management say royal ransomware, are we protected? Are we protected against these bad actors for the day, right? So first thing I would think you would do is, okay, what is this royal ransomware? Well, let's go to CISA and let's go to this US-CERT alert and try to figure out what this is. This was actually released last week, exactly a week ago. And I'm not sure if folks are aware of it, but FBI and CISA or US-CERT have come together, and they have this top ransomware team that focuses, a subset of the team focuses together in stopping ransomware and not only prevention, but proactively prevention, but also FBI is involved thereafter. So this is part of that. Royal Ransomware was just released last March, last week, I should say. And if, first thing anybody from an analyst perspective has to do is, well, let's go figure out what the heck this Royal Ransomware is. What do they do? Well, CISA does a very good job of describing to you what this particular player has done. It will give you a very good idea, since in terms of description, what kind of ransom they have been able to grab, as well as specific industries that they've been focused on. Now, they also give you technical details. Now, if you look at it, this is what I really like, right? Okay, initial access. This is how 66% of Royal Ransomware guys are using phishing, and then getting it using remote desktops and few other phishing phishing tactics to get into our infrastructure and cause damage. And then it goes into command and control, and then lateral movement and exfiltration is their goal. The last but not least is the ransomware, where they are encrypting it, and this is what they've done. So it gives you a good big picture view. But now, being an analyst, you have to figure out how I'm gonna inform my management that whether we are protected, whether our controls or infrastructure are protected against these royal actors. That's the key part. So that's where AttackIQ comes in. You have all the information, informing you what this alert was. But then what we do within 24 hours is we have, first of all, created a blog portion of it and going into real detail and explaining what exactly this particular ransomware campaign has done, using all the information that we have gathered from CISA as well as FBI's releases. We are a technology research partner for Center for Threat Informed Defense with MITRE. They're the only founding member, so that with our relationship, we are able to get to the pure TTPs. So, and now we are going into details as to what kind of kill chain that this particular threat actor actually did. And as you can see, it's a massive kill chain. They started off, we'll go into details, but I just want to show it to you how we have a blog starting off. This is all about research, right? Hey, who are these guys? How is AttackIQ going to help me validate whether I am protected or not, or what kind of risk I have for my infrastructure or not? So we break it down. We give you the full kill chain, and we're going to go into the details, so don't worry about that. But then we break it down into saying, this is the stage of this particular kill chain. They start off, and now we're going into details. They are using the battle order initial defensive techniques to basically get in initial access. They use a lot of tools. Then they are using discovery, using Windows tools to get around, using lateral movement to jump around, changing registries to make it persistent and stealthy. So the point I'm trying to say is we do a very good job of describing to our customers, and this is a blog open to everybody, as to what this particular threat actor has done based on all the information we search and scrape from worldwide databases, including MITRE and FBI and CISA as well. So the final stage, as we talked about, is pretty much encryption, and it gives you a really good idea, and then it goes into all the details and processes. So it gives you very good starting point research, and then you are in business of understanding what it is, what kind of tactics they were used, what specific techniques that they were using, And that is where a product comes in, and we have productized these specific techniques and tactics into a product. So let's go ahead and jump into the products. So for example, we have, okay, coming back to our home page over here, if you find out, oh, this is something new, let's go figure out what this is, glance through it, look at the blog, and we can create an assessment over here. And what it does is uses that we already have a built-in and fully tested assessment that has the entire kill chain. You can see the kill chain right over here that has been created. So I'm going to pause for a second, and I'm going to go into our architecture slide so that we can come back to this and it will make more sense. I'm going to pause. Any questions I see on the chat, please let me know. If there are any questions, this is a perfect time to ask, and I can respond so that everybody can understand where we are going, and it's just not me speaking. I want to make sure that you understand what we are doing and how we're doing it. I'm going to pause for 10 seconds for you guys to allow any questions to be responded. If not, I'm going to move on. Okay, looks like no questions. That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and keep moving. Let me go ahead and showcase to you our platform, and more importantly, the workflow on how we do the emulation for this particular royal ransomware kill chain that we just created from soup to nuts, from initial access to encryption asking for ransom. How do we validate whether your infrastructure is going to be able to block and tackle all the different stages of this particular ransomware attack? Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about this. So first of all, our platform is a SaaS platform. 95% of our customers prefer SaaS. We do have an on-prem as well as an air-gapped solution for our DoD customers. Options are available. Everything is accessible via browser. 443 TLS 443. It's pretty straightforward. The platform right over here is the brains of the operations. This is where you identify what tests that you want to run, what assessment you want to execute, and then we will go ahead and execute. We have two modules. First is for our offensive module. That's kind of what our topic is today, is offensive module, which is our red teaming module. The purpose for the red teaming module is to identify the TTPs that you want, and then you exercise it on your production assets. That's the key part. You want to run, ideally, you want to run these emulations into production assets so you can understand your security posture. Running it in a lab environment is possible, clearly, but then you're not getting a true idea of what the real scenario is, since a lab environment is most likely a pristine image. There is no wear and tear. And production environments, lots of folks are touching it, changes are happening, updates are happening, sometimes updates are not happening, and that's how it is. So the way we do it is very straightforward. You identify a sample of your different OSs as well as cloud infrastructure, a sample. We don't deploy it everywhere. You identify your crown jewels, where your bread and butter assets are, and that's it. And we are deploying a software agent. Our software agent is a Python script interpreter, and all it does is gets the Python scripts for those tests from the platform and executes them. Now, I'm sure there are a lot of questions in your head. Well, it's an agent. We don't want it to be deployed everywhere. So first of all, the agent do not need to be deployed everywhere. Secondly, this is just a software file. That means it's not inserted into the kernel. It will never be the cause of a blue screen. That's the important part. We wouldn't have 250 customers if we didn't execute everything safely. So everything that we emulate is safe, and it will never cause any downtime, any outages anywhere. That's the key part. So you manually install these agents, or you can use your OS management solutions, Chef, Puppet, or SCCM, for example, to do that. So you identify the assessments that you want to run over here. The assessment will download the Python script. Remember, these agents are just Python scripts. They just understand this Python script that has been downloaded, and it will execute it on the asset it's on. You do not need to have a control specific to that. We will test it and we'll respond back with basically the results of that particular test. And that's it. And the agent doesn't do anything after that. It goes to sleep. That's pretty much what the attack part would be. So you are very scalable, because you could have this particular assessment run across 2 different Windows machines, different Mac OS, your crown jewels, different locations, and you can run all of them at the same time. So you have a clear idea of from different vantage point, your security posture against this royal ransomware or any other script that you're running. So that is this pretty much is our offensive section, where we will test, and you can pick the different tests. We have thousands of different tests that are in our database. You can pick and choose, and you can execute them, and we'll let you know the results on the platform itself. Now, this particular red teaming test, offensive test, for example, is focused on verifying whether your controls are doing their blocking and tackling, that your active controls, may that be firewalls, EDR, DLP, email, network segmentation, whatever tools are out there to protect you against these TTPs are going to be tested. Now, we also have a second module that is also part of the solution, which is focused on our blue teaming. It is our detection and response module. The purpose for this module is to make sure your passive controls, aka your log management systems like a SIM or log or an aggregator, is doing its job. That means, is the information properly logged by your controls in these database, individual controls database, as well as your SIM or aggregator. So what we do is, for the test that we just completed, we are going to use APIs to call directly upon the control that we just tested. For example, if the test was against an EDR, we would make sure that we'll call upon via the API using the parameters of the script. So for example, the test, we know source IP address, destination IP address, the timestamps, as well as the IOCs and the parameters of the scripts. And we will use those to query directly over here to the control and the database. We will at the same time do the same query to the SIM or the aggregator, where most likely the control is putting all the information in. Now, this is very important, because your detection and response, your team, your threat intelligence team, perhaps your compliance team or your risk management team, uses this information right over here. Perhaps they use a BI tool that uses AI and ML to correlate the behavior of the different logs into the database to figure out if there's a campaign, a threat campaign that's going on. Now, if this information is not properly logged, then the decision made by your risk management, compliance, or threat intelligence team is going to be incorrect. And that is what we make sure our module validates. All right, so that's our workflow, and I'm going to pause for a second while I clean up this stuff and jump into the product nest and show you the demo of that. Any questions, folks? This is the time to ask questions on the chat. All right, let me go ahead and go to the platform next. Any questions on the chat? Let me see. If there is any, I will respond to it. I'm sure you guys have a question or two. All right, we're going to jump in and let's go ahead and go back to the assessment that we had created. And you can see that this is what we have. This is the entire kill chain. This came out of the box. We have, if you just make it bigger, it has steps. It says this is what this initial access is. It's going to try to download this battle order file and see if it's possible. Trying to go ahead and save that file to the file system. Save another PowerShell script to the file system. Again, the key thing is, it has feedback, smart intelligence. It says if this particular step was prevented, then go directly to this step right over here and download another batch file. So this is what the Royal Ransomware Threat Actor actually did this, and we have all replicated, and we're going to use this emulation. So it goes all the way down to, it does lots of steps. It's a full kill chain, and it goes all the way down to basically the last step is encryption. Collect and encrypt these files, and that would be the last step. And that is kind of what the purpose and the intent of this particular person is. So what we're going to do is oops, I clicked on the zoom button. There are a couple of parameters that we need to configure. Let's go ahead and configure the parameters. It's basically saying what is the target IP, since we are I'm going to give it a target IP, so that's where the scan comes in for it. And then the last piece is, it's asking us, is there a particular directory you want the particular folder you want encryption to be done. So that is what this particular question is right over here. And let's go ahead and give it a specific one. This is the only input it's needed, and the reason we ask for the input is we want to make sure that we are exercising these assessments safely. So that's the only reason we have this input. We could have easily picked in and done it, but this is where we are doing it on a safe fashion. Okay, all right, so that's it. Those are the two inputs, and now we're going to do is we're going to run this, and running this entire kill chain is very easy. It's going to be, you just identify the assets you want to run this against. I'm going to pick one, and I'm going to apply this. And all we have to do is click continue and then click run. That's it. So now what's going to happen is the platform itself is going to let the agent know that we have this entire kill chain with lots of different steps, 50 steps, I believe. And individual steps are a Python script. It is going to download it one at a time. And then it's going to execute it one at a time and send the results back. And the purpose for this exercise for kill chain is to find out how far along does your infrastructure let the threat actor go in before it's blocked. That's the whole purpose. Ideally, it's blocked at the stage number 1, or that's perfect. Let's go ahead and look at the results for it. I ran this yesterday, so we can just go ahead and look at the results in the interest of time. So we ran this kill chain, right? The entire kill chain, you can see. And let's go ahead and look at the results. The results for this it gives you a good snapshot of where it was paused and what it will be doing, for example. Okay, and looks like it was prevented. Question is, what step was it prevented? How far along the kill chain did the threat actor make it before it was blocked? So you can see in regards to it, lots of things were blocked in my lab. But in the end, when it got finally blocked, it fully executed, prevented, was right over here when I tried to do code injection, and that's what it was blocked. So the encryption didn't make it. So that's good. And you can see all these things. This kill chain was a long kill chain, and all these steps were successful. The good news is it didn't go through all the way down to the encryption or ransomware part. But now the next question is, okay, why did we have this much stuff gone in? It should have blocked, and you can see all the steps were, it was not prevented and it was not detected. So if you want to look at every step that's there, just to give you an idea, the first step was downloading this batch file that they use. And by the way, we would go ahead and look at each and every step. So you can see we're going to try to download this particular file. Now, this particular file, okay, this is the actual batch file that the ransomware folk use. This is not just a file name. It's actually it has the SHA is perfect over here. The hash value is going to be the same. So your EDRs or firewall should know about it and should have blocked it. We were successfully connected to our service, and we were able to download it, which is not good. It should have been blocked. It was not. We provide you. Then we basically try to say, okay, we're going to call upon. Remember, the second thing is, well, it did not block the download. Did it actually detect it? We were not able to find it in our PA logs, which is not good. We would expect it to find it. What we then provide you is we are providing you with IOCs, so you can search for it easily. All the details that you have are there, and you have the observables, so you can actually go and search for that particular piece as well. Okay, let's go back over here, go to our results section. Oops, that one. Okay, and go ahead and click that. Let's go pick one which was actually detected in here. So okay, so right over here. So let's pick one which actually detected and prevented. So it gives you a better idea. So this particular one was, this is the actual command structures that we did on the asset itself. We are running this batch file right over here, executing it. We tried to do it and we were not able to execute it, and that basically means this particular batch file was quarantined. You could see that because it didn't exist. Otherwise, we would have cleaned ourselves up. And detection wise, you can see that we have EDR, we have Falcon in our lab right over here, and you can see that right over here it was prevented by the Falcon, and you can see the reason it was prevented. It was a threshold for malware, whatever. This is a CrowdStrike reasoning. If you want to look at more information, you can go ahead and click on more information, and what we'll do is we'll directly take you to your CrowdStrike log instance, so that you can log in and see the details of that event, because we've already have that all the exact event is already identified, and you can see that and get into it, because we try we don't want to put in any specific information over here. You can look at it yourself, but we verified that. We also found out that in Splunk we did not find this information, which is not good, because we would expect CrowdStrike would have put it in Splunk as well, inserted into, and it did not. So something to be concerned about, and look at it and find out why it did Falcon, which already has it in this database. Why did not it put it in the Splunk database? Because that's where all the aggregation is going through. Okay. All right. So that's that. Now, one thing I'm going to let you know is, oops, clicked on the wrong one. Is basically for every assessment that we run, we are automatically creating detailed reports. Very important. right? If you're a researcher, you spend so much time researching, creating the environment, creating scripts, creating and testing the scripts, and then executing the scripts and getting a better sense what the results are. And then you actually have to write reports, detailed reports for your peers and management as to what you did. That takes up most of your time. We are eliminating 99% of your time and have you focus on running more tests and focus on remediations. That's the key. So we have environment automatically done. The reports are automatically done for every assessment. Doesn't matter if it's a custom assessment that you've created, okay? That's the key part. All right. Okay. So now we are going to go look at the reports itself. So I've run a couple of reports already. Let's just show you a couple of reports that are there. So this is an executive summary for an attack graph. It gives just a big picture view of what's going on, nothing detail, and you can see it for yourself. Okay, and it's the next one which is a detailed report. It goes into real long. In fact, it will be 75 pages because it talks about each and every steps and do everything on that one. It will give you observables, it will give you all the insertions, and it will help you understand which particular one was it didn't work and give you the remediation information as well. Okay, alrighty. That's pretty much what I had to cover for today. In regards to one last thing, I'm going to inform you, every assessment that we have full integration with the operational tools, may that be Slack, ServiceNow, AWS. Tickets can be created and injected in there. Any questions, folks? This is the time to open up. I'm going to open up for any questions if there is any. Actually, I'm going to inform you one last thing is we actually have a Purple Hats conference, which is a free conference. This is not specific to our product. This is more of education. It's free, and we have industry leaders coming and discussing lots of different tracks. I suggest you guys, if you guys have the time, it's 4 or 5 hours on April 6th coming up. Highly recommend to join, get a perspective from lots of different customers and different industry expert as to what's going on in our industry. So that would be my my last thing. Any questions or in the chat? We'll open it up for chats for 5 minutes, 5-10 seconds, and then we will be done. Okay. I think we are done for today. I don't see any questions in the chat window. You guys are always welcome to shoot out an email, and glad to answer any questions if you have in the future.
Great. Thank you so much, Jamin, and thank you everyone for joining. Yes, please go sign up for Purple Hats right after this, and we will see you on our next demo. Thank you so much, everyone.